Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Diane and my passion is painting and creating nature-inspired watercolors in my studio, which are easy for you to do too. I share all my paintings with you on YouTube, and on our website dianeantone.com you can find free downloadable sketches for all the videos to help you make the most of your painting journey. And if you'd like a little bit more, we also have channel memberships with loads of perks for you to enjoy. So welcome on board. Click subscribe and turn on notifications, and let's learn to paint watercolour. Hi everyone, welcome to my studio. Hope everyone's well. Today we're going to be painting some cute cats, and I've spent the last couple of days experimenting and teaching myself how to do such a thing as a cute cat, and so I'm just showing you here some of the cats that I've been exploring over the last couple of days. Now, following on from what we did the other day with the little birds, my idea here is to experiment and to practice and to learn more about how to use wet in wet. And so this particular little cat here, for example, I just drew the outline in pen, and then I used a little bit of very light brown for the body, and then just dropped in some dark brown in the appropriate places and let it bleed. And as you can see, that makes quite a sweet little cute little kitty cat. And so then I developed that a little bit more into these Siamese here, which you might also find quite interesting to have a go at. And then there's a few mistakes here. This one looks like a rat. Sometimes they don't work out at all. That one looks like a mouse, definitely. This one's quite cute though, quite like that. And then I decided to work on the design that I want to do for the card, and I thought putting them in a line would be nice. So I have either a horizontal or a vertical format. And then the colours, you know, do we want realistic or do we want something a little bit off the wall kind of thing? So I've got a set of Gallo paints here. And I've been experimenting with those just recently, and there are some quite nice colours there and some very strongly granulating ones like chromite brown, which you can see there. And I'm going to combine that with Notturno there, the second from the right at the top. They both granulated nicely to make the Siamese. I'm going to use Yin Min Blue, which is here, which is also another granulating one. Probably along also with Indan Throne Blue there. And then the third one is going to be Olive Green Deep, and you can see how that's granulating. And that will be with possibly Harbour Blue, or I might mix that with some Notturno again. So we'll see how that goes. But if you can get hold of some of these colours from Gallo, they are interesting, and I know not everybody wants to mix colours all the time, and sometimes I don't want to either. And when I don't want to, that set is ideal because you can get lots and lots of mixes on the paper, you see, just from those few colours. And I've written down here which ones I've used so I don't forget. So let's get started again. Okay, so I have decided to use a piece of Arches paper here to make this card from. This is a piece which is about 8 by 11 or thereabouts. I'll just measure it. It's a sheet that I tore up, so 7.5 by 11. Folded that in half to give us a card about 5.5 by 7.5. And I'm going to paint directly onto that. Now, the first thing I'm going to have to do, okay, so here we've got my brushes. I've got a small, very small one, which I probably only will use for the lights in the eye. And I'm going to do the lights in the eyes using the Dr. Martens Bleed Proof White, which is like a white gouache. That's a number 3 round. Then the other brush I'm going to use is another synthetic round by Drawwell. That's a number 7. Any size around about that would do. And I've got a pigment liner, Stettler. This is a 0.05, so that's very fine nib, and an ordinary HB pencil. And I'm going to use for this my tin of Gallo paints here, handmade in Italy with honey and all sorts of exciting pigments, and I just talked about that briefly, which ones we were going to use a second ago, so I won't go over that again. So I'll just put that there. And I'll tell you what I do find, actually, one of the reasons I don't like using a tin of paints, especially when I'm doing a demonstration like this, is that this flap here, which I never use, is kind of in the way. So anyway, you won't be able to see that if I use it, but it'll be just out of sight. So this is the painting area I'm going to be working in. And since this painting isn't going to have a background, we don't need to tape it or anything like that. So I will just put in pencil a line showing me pretty much where I want to put my cats. And then I'm going to just very lightly, since you know how it is when you're doing the practice ones, it all comes together nicely, but when you're doing the real thing, everything goes to pieces. So I'm just outlining very lightly there 3 ovals for my 3 cats. And I've tried to center them as much as I can in that space. So then the next thing is going to be to get some clean water on my brush and to pick up a little bit of this colour here, which is chromite brown. And I just need something to test on. Okay, so chromite brown, nice and weak. And I'm just going to brush that in there. And I'm going to let it go lighter on one side and slightly rough edge, lighter on one side than on the other. And then at the top here, just going to do 2 little triangles coming out of the top of the oval there, and that's to represent the ears. And then we're going to put 2 blobs down there, that's for his feet. And then just drawing down a tail like that. Then I'm going to put, just dashing in, dabbing, whatever, some colour in that area so that it will bleed out and run, hopefully, nicely. If Archie's behaves itself. And I'll just darken down the tip of the tail a little bit. Kind of a little bit like a Siamese. It's actually based on our own, one of our cat. We've got 5 cats and one of them looks a bit like that. When you dry your brush off in between strokes and things, one of the things I've found that works really well is one of these. I don't know if you have these in America. It's a flat sponge thing that you use for cleaning, but if you get a new one and stick that beside you, you can easily dry off your brushes and they stay put as well when you put one down. Okay, now the next one I'm going to do in a colour which is called Yin Tin, just check, Yin Min Blue. So we're going to put exactly the same idea, just paint that oval, and it doesn't matter if it's irregular. In fact, if anything, it's best if it is. Whatever you do, don't try and sharpen it up, tidy it up or anything. Just keep it loose and rough. And the 2 points on the top, and then we're going to go to Indanthrone Blue, which is like a what do you call it, phthalo blue, quite a strong colour. Drop some of that in for the face, 2 more blobs for the feet, and I think the tail, we'll make it, should we have the tail? Yeah, we have the tail going here, same as the other one, only a little bit more behind. Like that. Now I know nobody's ever seen a blue cat, but in certain lights I'm sure a cat could be persuaded to look bluish. Anyway, so I'm just adding a little bit more water to the surface here to give some interesting runs. Oops, some interesting effects. And then the third one is going to be olive green deep, which is this one. A little bit more colour. I wanted to play around with some of the granulating colours in this tin of paints. That's why I chose these colours. They're the best granulating ones, I think. So we want 2 more ears at the top there. And then the second colour for this one is also going to be, it's going to be chromite brown, like this one. And we're going to give him a nice fluffy tail. You could play around with these designs infinitely. There must be thousands of ways that you could make this your own. I'll put some more dark in there. Don't forget his feet. There we are. And then I'm going to pick up my pen, if I can find it. And while these are still wet, there's 2 things I want to do. One is I'm going to draw in the line on which they're sitting, which is going to be a sort of branch. The idea is there are leaves coming from this branch. So it's a very simple design like this. Kind of thinking the cat is in the tree. And then also with the pen, we're going to go around, but not close to. So we're just going to give some character to these little sketchy things by doing what you might call a messy outline. And then at some point we will have to put the face in. But before I do anything else, I'm going to put whiskers. I have found that I know where to put the eyes once I've put the whiskers in. So the whiskers are in. And now we're on to the blue one. I mean, after all, guys, if you can have a pink panther, I'm sure you can have a blue cat. And you want to keep this line irregular and broken. And then we put in the whiskers. Similarly, as irregular as you can possibly manage it. This cat has got much smaller ears and a nice fluffy tail. Come back to that in a second. Put in his whiskers. And now we're going to just draw out some fluff by doing that on his tail, and just some irregular hairs elsewhere to make him look cuter. And his eyes are going to go around here. And I've decided I'm going to keep them really simple. And a really simple face altogether. Now, same one for this one, same thing for this one. Some feathers on his tail. Pop his eyes in here. I'll do these a little bit different because his face is a bit different. And then this one here, 2 small eyes and a mouth. Hairy tail. And there's nothing to stop you making them smiley, like that. Cats always do seem to have a permanent smile, don't they? And then I'm just going to put tiny, 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 I hope, dot in the eye for character. Pretty tricky. And then using a little bit of this bleed-proof white mixed with some green, I'm just going with some olive green, this is, and I'll just paint the leaves. On my branch, like that. And then, without too much fuss, we'll just write on here, Happy Mother's Day. So there's the final painting, and here's a quick look at some of the other cats which I painted while I was working on this video. We're a 5-cat household these days, so I had plenty of willing models. I hope you found this video enjoyable. Please subscribe and turn on notifications if you did, and visit our website for free downloads of all our paintings. While you're there, a donation in our tip jar via PayPal would be greatly appreciated. So I'll say bye-bye for now, everybody, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.